Well, chat, you
Yeah.
missed another one that could have been on Patreon.
Yeah. Woo.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Recharge Post Show here on Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and what a show we got to talk about here. We have
Yeah.
matches that are coming up for No Thanksgiving that was semi-announced this evening. Challenges were laid out. All that and a few good matches here on this card. We got a lot to talk about here, so before we get into everything that we just saw about 15 minutes ago, let's introduce the panel for this evening. On the left, looks like honestly backstage at the production of Beer Start there. He is the one that lives way up there on the east coast of Maine, the inventor of the Beacon of the Week, the one and only Coastal Crusader.
What is going on? I'm in Hazard's Lair from back at RMP lore. But no, and what a crazy ending we had tonight. We had Curtis Cole throwing shoes at people. He threw a shoe.
Through multiple shoes.
Yeah, we heard
He
your
never got
reaction
those
to
back
that.
either. He never got those back. We found those later taking the ring down. He left without them.
And on the right, he is the voice of Charge and everything Rocky Mountain Pro from time to time. He is the one and only KD. How's it going, bud?
Good, man. I'm back after a little bit of some rough couple of weeks, but I'm back and excited to be talking about Charge, man. What a heck of an episode to come back to.
By the way, Coastal, I forgot to text you over the week. How was your flight?
I am learning most of the crews on JetBlue. They treat me pretty good. Although I did have a dude the other way back who I know I take up a lot of room, but that dude was like Mark size and he took up like both seats, like just sitting there like this.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you sat next to one of the members of the Duff Militia.
Oh no, number one, it's an overnight flight. I on the way home I need to sleep. That's way too much orange. I mean that makes Preston look dull.
It's true.
All right. Let's get on to it, shall we? First thing to start off Charge. Of course, we have Echo Boostin and Brew attacking a cameraman again. Or semi-attacking a cameraman, I guess you could say. What do you think of their attitudes going forward here? I mean, we thought that these were probably one of the great dudes of RMP, was always friendly around the fans and everything, and now has gone to the point where they're throwing rocks and debris at cameramen. Poor Kevin.
Yes, poor Kevin, but this is what happens when you go unchecked for too long. You start to get bolder and bolder, and you're preying upon right now. I mean this with all due respect to Kevin, but it's low hanging fruit. They're just looking to make people's lives miserable for the sake of making them miserable. Kevin didn't do anything to them other than try and do his job, and unfortunately, poor Kevin has to deal with a crazy buffalo and a whacked out bird.
Well, why was he by himself in the first place?
I honestly, I don't know.
Is Kevin that brave?
There's that fine line. Oh, right there. There's a fine line between brave and stupid. Kevin may have fallen off to one side of that.
Well, you would think after the last time he tried to get an interview with Brew and Echo, and it didn't end so well. It ended up here on it. It ended up him on his rear end. You would think that he would have at least thought about maybe bringing somebody else with him.
Man's committed to his job.
Well, it seemed like he was just trying to check lighting or something with the cameras, and I will attest it's hard to carry one of those things and run at the same time. It's damn near impossible, and it definitely hinders you.
Is it harder to run or is it harder to be chased?
Yes.
Oh,
it's definitely hard to evade a buffalo. It's hard to serpentine holding a camera. But I think that's the plan when it comes to Brew. If you're running away from Brew, just zigzag, and he doesn't quite know what to do.
And don't wear red.
That too. Which sucks for Kevin because his hair's red. So
yeah.
Well, that explains a lot then.
Maybe if Kevin dyes his hair, or gets like a bandana or something.
Well,
I don't
he
know.
got abducted wearing a hat, so it's not like it helps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Kevin, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, champ. Your day's coming sometime.
Maybe.
I think for his safety, I think he should just stay in the Wimmer for a little while and not leave the building next time. Um, moving on though, we did have a interaction between Derek Stone and Mick Diamond again because the first one was very good. Um, here we are again. Derek Stone and Mick Diamond talking about a possible match at No Thanksgiving. What do you guys think about Lloyd Mitchell Taylor and Derek Stone going up against Mick Diamond and Cushman?
I am wondering if Lord Mitchell Taylor sees this as a warm up match for them. While on the other side, I think Mick Diamond is trying to play it cool because he knows these are two veterans. And if he and Cushman win, this is a big win. I mean, that jumps them. It takes all the negative that they've experienced and it puts all of that work they've done. It's like this is the goal right here. And Mick Diamond, I think, is trying not to act way too excited because he wants to play it cool. Because Mick Diamond's a cool dude. He's a very cool dude.
Katie, your thoughts on this matchup at No Thanksgiving? Who? Okay, so Derek Stone and Lord Mitchell Taylor. Okay, they were. Well, Derek Stone was tasked to try and get a match against Chopper City for those tag champions. Obviously, that ain't working out, as we heard right after this segment. They got overlooked basically. So, second best thing, try and get some type of a match, and who better than Smoke and Mirrors to fulfill that spot? So, what are your chances that Smoke and Mirrors pulls up the upset against Lord Mitchell Taylor and Derek Stone?
0 to none.
Oof.
Listen.
I tried, guys. I tried.
No, I'm going opposite. I'll let KD go, but I'm going opposite.
It's one thing we got to think about is you heard Derek when he came in saying that, hey, you're still here. Did Derek think that Mick just sat there for an entire week waiting for him?
Possible.
I know he was in the same spot, but like it's been a whole week.
I
think Mick had things to do.
He sat in the same spot, and maybe Derek does in fact just be like, "Oh well, okay, he never left."
Right. So that was kind of interesting. No, but I don't think it's a terrible match. I think it's a good match for Derek to get back and on the winning ways. I think it's going to be a good match for. It's definitely going to be one that Lord Mitchell Taylor is going to have to take out some of his frustrations. But I think if they can get a good solid game plan, I think Smoke and Mirrors might just have a little tough time on their hands, but they might pull it out.
I think this match depends on Derek Stone. If Derek Stone is focused, they will win. They being Derek Stone and Lord Mitchell Taylor. But if Derek Stone gets caught up in the antics that maybe Mick Diamond and Cushman play every once in a while, and they get Derek excited, and Derek turns into that Derek we saw a while ago trying to help Lord Mitchell Taylor, then maybe Smoke and Mirrors picks up a big win here. So I think this is solely on, this is when Derek's going to come, right? Derek Stone has to show up and be the Derek Stone he says he can be, and not the one that, hangs out with Maxine.
I mean, there is a possibility that Smoke and Mirrors, if they can get it together, we've seen them kind of, get better as the months go on as a cohesive unit. We'll see if that actually comes together here, and who knows? Maybe they'll pick up their
Cushman
first
has the
win.
plan. He's got a plan.
I can only imagine what that plan consists of.
A lot of parts to it.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. All right. Well, moving on. Speaking of tag teams and the tag team champions, Chopper City backstage. First off, admiring the Charge logo, and yes, it is a very good Charge logo, of course. But they have, kind of zoned in on Echo Boosin and Brew. After last week, when Echo Boosin and Brew got the victory over Sin Bodhi and Mr. Happy, um, they are now on notice. And as Echo Boost used to say, and probably will still do, they're on site now. And so there is a very good possibility that we're going to see Echo and Brew going up against Chopper City for those RMP Tag Team Champions. And during this package, the challenge was laid out. Fellas, what do you think about this Tag Team Championship match that's coming up and No Thanksgiving? Not confirmed, but it's looking like it's going to be that way.
I'm really looking forward to it. I love a good tag team match, and this is going to be one of them. Like, this has everything you need and want. The entertainment, you get to see Chopper City come out, they get everybody pumped up, and then it's just go time. And it's going to be back and forth. And you know, Bossy and Brew, there's a big explosion waiting to happen there. You get high flying from Atiba and Echo. This match is going to steal the show if it happens, and I want it to really bad.
Katie?
No, I agree 100%. It's going to be a great match. If it happens, you're going to have a lot of different components, which are going to be fun. The high flying, the power game, speed, the quickness. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of separate entities put all into one match, and that's going to be really interesting to see. But I think we all know how we want it to end. And if I can see if I can pull this off real quick. Coastal, give me a chop.
Chop.
Let's see if that worked out a little bit.
What was I
That's
missing?
what happens when we're not in this. That's what happens when we're not in the same room. We can't make it work.
Right.
So I was trying to do the old like through the screen chop with it.
Okay.
That didn't quite work as well. So we'll keep trying. Well, maybe next week. But no, I think it'd be a great match. Be a hell of a match. It'd be a hell of a challenge for Chopper City.
All right, and from there, we do have our first contest this evening. We had some Lockettes action to talk about here. We had Noel going up against Lola the Adventurer. And after that match, there were some shenanigans from one Lilith Grimm, a very pissed off Lilith Grimm, if I do say so myself. And then another challenge was made towards the end of that, but we'll get into that after we talk about the match. So, Coastal, give us your thoughts about this Lockettes match.
This is a completely new look, Noelle, even since Shocktober. She is super focused and she is taking it to Lola this whole match. And let's face it, Lola really seems preoccupied with her backpack for some reason. We find out why in the end. But that I just see her 3 times trying to go to that backpack when Noelle is just putting a beating on her. And this is something we haven't seen. Usually we see Lola, it's at least 50-50 in these matches, but she has a plan now, and it's not a map, and she's not looking for treasure. She's not looking to find anybody. She has a taser now, apparently, and she likes to shock people. Well, it was quite shocking that she tases Noelle, and then she gets the win. And I honestly think the overall loser here is Noelle for more reasons than one, because after she gets tased and is laying there, Lilith Grimm comes out and starts to beat the holy hell out of her, stomping her. Also, she can call out Adrian Mascara because Lilith believes that Noelle is the reason that she lost the title and she lost focus. Well, albeit so, I don't know if this was a particular way to ask somebody else about a challenge is to stomp somebody else into submission. But I'm not really going to go near Lilith. She seems very upset right now. But we do get the challenge laid out. Adrian is more than happy to come out and answer that. And it looks like it is all systems go, KD, for this Lockettes title at No Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I would recommend you just stay in that corner where you are over there right now and just make sure you keep your distance.
Yeah, no, I'm not going near Lilith. No. She's terrifying. Hammer or no hammer.
All right, Katie.
Well, I just want to know what the heck got up everyone's butt the last couple of weeks between Noel and her and just everybody, man. Everyone's in a bad mood.
There's one common denominator with that situation.
The walking bad mood?
Yeah.
That is Damon Ace.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we're used to seeing Lilith kind of be a little bit more jovial recently, and yeah, she just came out like a house of fire, and it's real easy to beat up somebody who just had an 8-minute match. Real easy to do that.
Who got tased
Um,
also. But
yeah, who got tased, by the way. Shocking turn of events, if you will. But yeah, no, she came out, she laid out the challenge. Adrian, though, not backing down, and so I think that's going to happen at No Thanksgiving. That'll be a hell of a match, and but we can't take away anything we saw from Noelle. Like Coastal said, this is a completely different Noelle. Since joining up with Sin, it's more confidence. Seems like she's got more fire under her, which is only a good thing. So glad to see the new Noelle, I guess we could say. Not sure what to make of the new Lola. But good to see that Adrian has no problem coming in there and stepping up to the plate and not backing down from anybody.
To make of the new Lola. Hello, can you say assault? I knew you could.
well, she told Preston that she was going to get her act together and get stuff done in the ring, and I mean, she's 2-0 with that taser, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there'd be a problem if she wasn't.
All right. Moving on from the Lockettes action here, we see CBD making a phone call to Hendricks and Enrique, and we all know what that was about. And we saw what happened later on in the show, which we'll get into a little bit more. Also, we'll talk about that partnership between Dalton and Remy. But obviously, somebody is very concerned out in the middle of the country right now, and that is one CBD, and willing to pay an up and coming tag team a little bit of cash to do his dirty work while he's away. Your thoughts on this whole situation between CBD and Remy, as it is not going to stop until No Thanksgiving, from the looks of it.
Well,
If there is a match on No Thanksgiving, because if CBD keeps on sending goons at him, then
well, all I know is Joey and Enrique better make sure it is cash, because if you get a check from CBD, that thing's going to bounce clear to the ceiling. He's probably not even going to pay for that hotel he's in the parking lot of. He's just sleeping in his car there. Like, he's on the run. The man should be in the witness protection program. He's like Henry Hill at the end of Goodfellas, just trying to hide from everybody. And now he's got Dalton he's hiding from too, and Remy on top of that. Like,
yeah, he's not making many friends right now.
No, he doesn't just burn bridges. He just drops nuclear bombs on them whenever he's like, I don't care about this anymore. I'm out of here. Well, you got to come back eventually, bud, and that's going to be at No Thanksgiving.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, Queen reminded
What?
me of hashtag screw the poo. I forgot about that.
Oh, through the.
Oh, you weren't there for that.
No, I wasn't.
I was during Reignited. I think it was last week or the week before.
Yeah, but when Dalton comes back, or when when CBD comes back, Dalton will be waiting for him, and then we know Remy is waiting for him in the ring. So if there's anything left of him when he gets to that ring, Remy is going to have a quite humbled Mr. Drake on his hands, I believe.
Katie.
Well, I mean, how do you piss off a 6'3", 6'4" guy from Detroit, and then piss off someone bigger than him, and then somehow find yourself on the wrong side of a guy just as big in Jake Goldie? You had your goons take out Remy. They beat up Dalton. Jake Goldie comes and makes the save. Like, can these? I feel almost keyword bad for those two, because they could not find a smaller man to beat up if they tried. And so you go after those guys, and yeah, that match is going to happen. And if I'm CBD, I'm hoping to God that neither Goldie or McKenzie are in the building at that time.
I'm making sure they're not. CBD's walking around here like the Ash Ketchum of ass kickings. He's trying to catch them all.
Heck, at this point, why not get a hold of Lola and just have some personal security? She seems to be pretty good with the taser.
That's true.
Just have
Yeah.
Lola walk behind you back to back. Just have that taser at the ready.
Yeah, something tells me that no Thanksgiving. I think CBD will be getting ready outside of the locker room, probably outside of the arena at that point.
He'll helicopter in and just land on the roof.
You're gonna get that Jericho '98 Halloween Havoc where he just can't find the arena, but it's on purpose this time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be constantly turning around, and it's gonna be one of those. It's not.
Is he
that
gonna have
big.
Ralphus too for security?
You can always get Lola. I mean, you might as well at that point.
Well, we'll talk about this a little bit more once we get to it, but we want to, go back to the Wimmer, and we need to talk about Smoke and Mirrors once again in their intelligent conversations that they have during these parts of the show. So,
Johnny, they're on a different level right now, Johnny. They don't even need.
I don't even have the
speak in
words to
full
even describe
sentences.
the conversations.
No, they
no
don't
more,
even
to be
have to
honest with
speak in
you.
full sentences. They're on that much of. They're a unit. They're thinking the same. Diamond doesn't even need to look at Cushman. Like, he's just like, "Yep, that's what's happening. All right, we're good." I mean, and that's a full conversation. Cushman, I'm pretty sure Cushman understood completely what was going on.
They are the reincarnation of Cheech and Chong, and those two aren't even dead. So that's the bad part.
Yeah,
but they sure are entertaining.
I'm pretty sure Cushman may be an illegitimate child of Keith Richards.
It's entirely possible.
Well, that's really all we need to say about that segment, though.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Only thing you need to say, it's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And that leads up to our second and final match this evening on Charge. And you want to talk about a match of two giants here. We had Dalton McKenzie going up against Dak Draper, the Mile High Magnum. I mean, that was like, what, a 15-minute gem between these two giants?
It was incredible. The crowd was so loud this whole match. And then they're going pillar to post and a collar and elbow, throwing each other around back and forth. I had to cough there. I got so excited. I mean, Dalton is.
I understand your voice is starting to go after week 3. I get it.
A little bit, yeah. Ooh. The air's so thin. It's so hard to breathe. Dalton is throwing Dak around like I have never seen. And we're watching the rewinds and we've seen highlights, and I've never seen Dak be manhandled like the way Dalton was at points during this match. But this is where the experience of Dak comes in. He just keeps fighting, find new ways, hits him with a Draper bomb. That didn't work. He takes a massive Oklahoma Stampede a la Dr. Death from Dalton, who he kicks out of that. Finally ends up with a wasteland to get the win here. I mean, this match was incredible. This is what you say, hey, what is RMP wrestling? Watch this. And then you just put that match on and you're fine. People understand at the end of that. Like, it was incredible. If we still gave lighthouses, I know exactly how many I'd give that.
I'm going to make a guess and say 3.5.
You're close. You're a little high. No, of course not, John. Come on. That was a great match.
Katie.
No, it was. It's everything you want in a match. It's what we grew up watching. It's what we grew up falling in love with. It's two larger-than-life guys beating the living hell out of each other for about 15 minutes, and then walking out of there with mutual respect. It was intense. It was loud. It was heavy. It was wet for some reason in the floor, but yeah, it was everything you wanted from a wrestling match. You heard me.
It's what? It's what?
Yeah, you heard me. Patreon exclusive.
You missed it, folks. It's okay.
Sorry. But yeah, no, it was a hell of a match. even in the loss, Dalton has nothing to be ashamed about. This is a guy who, in Dak, the man's a former, um, you know, tournament winner at ROH. He's the guy who's on the rise for a long time and is now kicking ass and taking names all over the world, and soon on your TVs, not just on RMP. So good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's Dak. Losing to Dak is never something to be ashamed of, especially going 15 minutes and putting up the fight that Dalton did.
And kicking out of a
Which,
Draper bomb.
yeah, that's it. Very few people have ever kicked out of a Draper bomb. So it's, and they got that mutual respect. So my only thought is, man, can you imagine if those two ever got on the same page and decided to team up? What the world's got coming for it at that point. But no, it was a great match. It's going to be one I think that we're going to be talking about for a very long time.
I would call them aggressively handsome.
Aggressively handsome. I like it.
And keep your eye out for that video that's probably going to come out at the end of the week for Match of the Week, because there's a good chance that's probably going to be that match this week. So you'll get that in its entirety. Speaking about mutual respect and how you shouldn't be ashamed to lose to Dak Draper, Remy D shows his character and who he is as a person. And who would have thought that Remy D and Dalton would have that kind of respect for each other? Even after the whole CBD thing and knowing that Dalton's CBD's best friend and all that stuff, it definitely should have opened eyes on who Remy D actually is, and that he's willing to give people who used to be his mortal enemy at one point a couple months ago, giving him advice and sticking by him and showing respect to him. Obviously, that was short-lived because, as we saw earlier with the phone call from CBD, we see Joey Hendricks and Enrique back there, and they jump both of them with a keg and a skateboard from the looks of it. Good choice of weapons, I guess. That was just conveniently in the area. And
Joey can't lift the keg.
what's that?
Because Joey can't lift the keg.
It better not be a micro keg. That's all I'm saying. There better have not been some good beer in there. But again, we saw what happened. They got jumped by Joey Kendricks and Enrique on CBD's bidding, and then out comes Jake Goldie, another big guy who you don't want to piss off. And all heads cool at that point. The two kids run away, and Remy looks like he got the worst out of the situation here, which does, possibly concern what's going to happen in a couple weeks between Remy D and CBD. If that match happens, hopefully he's not that hurt that he's not able to compete in this match, but time will tell. I'm sure we'll find out a little bit more next week on Charge. What do you think about this ongoing situation still? And like I said earlier about, Remy D actually showing a little bit of class and character and who he actually is as a person. Your thoughts on this whole situation?
I mean, we all knew the type of person Remy was. He's just showing it here. Let's not get it twisted, though. Remy is also keeping a very big eye on Dalton because, you screwed me once, it could happen again, but now we have a mutual enemy. And even though Remy takes the first part of this and Goldie comes in, when Remy is getting up, you got to think Remy's like, these two giant men are now my friends. I just offset those two smaller men that just attacked us and anything else that probably CBD will throw at me. I think he is looking at this. Yes, I took a beating, but I just gained two very big insurance policies here. So I think that Remy is using his Detroit brain here with enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if, hey, you know what? He'll have a huge army if CBD keeps, burning people.
Katie?
No, 100%. I agree with everything that was said. This is in Dalton. You have a guy who just a couple weeks ago was slamming Remy's head off the ring post, uncharged, and now he's kind of giving him advice and keeping his head up. That's a pretty classy thing for Remy D to do when he didn't have to and doesn't have to.
And that's why I made the point, because again, like you said, a couple weeks ago, Dalton was beating the holy hell out of Remy, not
Mhm.
like you said, smashing his head off the ring ropes, ring post, and really just doing some damage before his match against Brew at October. And now all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, you see a complete 180 between these two.
Yeah, no, and it's a great thing to see. It shows you the type of person that Remy is. Um, like we said, it's now they've got seemingly have Jake Goldie in their corner as well. That's not looking good for CBD and his buddies. It's it's the whole my boys are bigger than your boys, and take with that what you will, whether you want to use it as a double entendre or not. But you know, CBD's got a lot to answer for. he right now he don't have the biggest insurance policy. But I'll give those guys credit's due. If I had to beat up Jake or beat up Dalton McKenzie, I'd hit him from behind with a keg too. I'm not afraid to say it.
I think Remy got the keg actually. I think Dalton got the skateboard.
I'll hit him with anything that's not nailed down.
Anything
Skateboard, lead pipe, statue, I don't care. A cat, I will throw it at him. I don't care.
Yeah,
So-
as long as it's solid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on from that, we have the interaction between Damon Ace and Sin Bodhi. I'm not going to talk about that too much because there is a lot to kind of dissect during this interaction between these two. We'll just get to your talking points here. We'll start with Coastal. I mean, this was a pretty personal interaction between these two.
Yeah, it ain't done yet. We knew that. I mean, is it ever done? Even like he is as Katie said earlier, he's just walking darkness. Wherever he goes, whoever he talks to, they fester up, and they he's a walking dark cloud. And I don't know if getting that title back is even what he wants. I just think he wants to make Sin's life miserable.
I feel like it was never about the title with anything that he does. I don't
Yeah,
think a championship was ever really. I mean, granted, winning championship earns you the big bucks and all that stuff, but to him, I think it's more of just like a participation trophy right now. Because I mean, he's causing feuds with everybody at the moment and really starting to play personal games with a lot of his opponents.
Well, he's doing what he does best. He causes chaos, and then he comes into that chaos and gets what he wants while no one's looking. He's stirring up the Jason Knoll, the Lilith, to get them to go after Happy's other people, or Happy and Noel. And then Sin is watching that, and he's not watching, and then Damon gets him from behind. Like, he's an agent of chaos. He's violently intelligent. It's just what Damon Ace does. He thrives in chaos, and he thrives at trying to get under your skin and push every button you have. We hear it with his quote, "Oh, you lost one friend, you get two more. I don't care." Like, he's obviously digging at Sin, trying to get him to just lose his cool for a minute.
And he brought up the family again too.
Yeah, and Sin knows this. He's smarter than that now. He knows what Damon is throwing at him. Although you could tell it irritates him. But,
well, you just saw what happened with Ye and how that whole thing happened.
Yeah, I mean, Damon will push you and push you and push you mentally and physically. And mentally, sometimes he hits harder than he does physically.
Katie?
No, I agree. We all had to know this wasn't the end. We had to know that this was a far from over situation. Yeah, no, it's Damon. He's playing a very dangerous game. We said it leading up to Shocktober. It's a dangerous game, and you had all the ability to just walk away, and take your wounds. You put up a hell of a fight against one of the best there is, and you walked away not victorious. You could have walked away and lived to fight another day, but Damon seems hell bent on putting himself in an early grave. And if Sin's got his way, he'll do it. So, yeah, we'll have to see what comes of it. But if I'm Damon, I'm questioning where my own head's at right now.
He seems to know what he's doing. And
I hope for his sake that he does.
I mean, we kind of see the plan now. I think that kind of, sealed what he was doing with Noel and the whole Lilith situation, stirring that back up to the point where Lilith is, following Noel and attacking her at her leisure at the moment, and getting in the head of Jason Knoll to go after Simbodi, which that was also said during this interaction that Jason Knoll will be going up against Simbodi at No Thanksgiving for that title. Um, Hopefully, in Damon's eyes, to possibly take that title away from Sin so that Damon Hayes could have easy pickings against Jason Knoll and get that title back that way. It seems like Damon is trying to find ways to not have to deal with Sin Bodhi again. From the looks of it. So, we had a question in here. What are your thoughts on TNA coming back as well as NWA again on the CW? We have a little bit of time. You guys want to answer that?
Yeah, I think it's great. I like both products. I'm glad they're going to get into the cable, if you will. I don't know if you guys get CW out there, but we get it on cable here. If you still have cable, but no, it's great. More exposure is always great.
No, I agree. When it comes to the NWA, it's great. We've got people there who are with us regularly, which is awesome, and as in Dak Draper. Any chance for more wrestling on TV is always a good thing, in my opinion. If you're one of those weirdos that thinks that less wrestling is better, take a hike. If you don't think that more positions and more spots for wrestlers, production, commentators, anybody, if you think that wrestling is better off with less places for people to make a living, to me your opinion doesn't matter, and because you're wrong 100%, and there's no denying it. So I feel it's great for the NWA. Apparently they're getting 2 shows on CW, which is going to be interesting. They're getting Power, and then I guess there's going to be a behind the scenes type show for them as well, which is awesome because I love that stuff. So great for them. Super happy for Corgan and all of his crew that obviously worked very, very hard. With TNA, I love it. I grew up watching TNA. When WCW died, I almost got out of wrestling, and then TNA came up, and that was my thing. So, I think it's great. I think the brand recognition is going to be a lot better. I think whether or not I'm right on it, I hope it brings some fans back that may have lapsed from the product, because it is a fantastic product. It's a great product, and again, more people that watch wrestling, the better. It's great for us.
I think TNA is probably having one of the best runs in a long time.
100%. The show Impact is consistently good. Pay-per-views are consistently good. Talent there is fantastic. In my opinion, my personal favorite commentary team right now is on Impact. They're fantastic. So no, it's just great for everybody. More exposure, more
jobs,
more exposure, more jobs. Everything. It's never a bad thing to have that. Well, I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I'm probably not. I'm seeing only issue with TNA is Anthem and mainly Access. I mean, I would love for them to get back on a bigger network. I think they'd love to get them back on a bigger network. Unfortunately, for them, thank God that Anthem actually owns Access. So it's not like it's costing them. It's not like it's costing them any money to run
New
it.
And New Japan's on Access. New Japan's strong.
Yeah, New Japan's on Access. So yeah, it's great for them to have a spot right now that they're not having to pay for, which is great. I'd love to see them get on a bigger network, but only time will tell.
And once people see Joe Hendry, they will be.
Right.
I believe it.
But if you can't watch Access, Impact Plus there is a free tier that you can watch Impact every week. So anyone who says, well, I can't watch the show, well, you're not trying.
And there's a 99-cent tier where you get to watch
exactly
and commercial free.
Exactly. So yeah, there's that. It's like when people sit there and tell me about the independent. Well, it's hard to watch the indies. Everyone's got something on YouTube.
Look at
There's
us.
also yeah, well,
If you,
there's
if you
also
can't
a
find
free
the
app
evidence,
called
you're not actually
Independent
you're
Wrestling
not
Network.
actively trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it's great for all involved. I'm super happy for Corrigan. I'm super happy for Demore and the Anthem guys. It's you know to see the reaction of everybody in the locker room alone when they rebranded when they showed the TNA video. That was the coolest part. Like to see these guys genuinely excited. So that's awesome.
All right. Oh, you're lucky. We don't typically do that on these shows, so consider yourself lucky that we kind of stirred away from charge for a couple minutes.
Consider yourself lucky.
We are going to get back on topic here because we are Rocky Mountain Pro and we're talking about our weekly episodic show Charge right now. And we're at the end where we were supposed to have the main event, but some stuff happened. And some stuff that has been
Yeah,
boiling
a
over
fight.
from years and years of turmoil and disrespect and everything that has transpired, especially what happened at Shocktober when Dak Draper inserted himself into the main event of that match. Ever since then, it's been on site to Dak Draper from Curtis Cole, and the head game started, and Dak was not going to take any of it, clearly. Um, your thoughts on what transpired at Coastal? Because you were actually there, seeing it
Yeah,
in person of all the
I was.
chaos that happened.
It was
So,
crazy earlier. Like all all Curtis Cole had to do was just leave. He didn't have anything to do. He didn't have to insert himself into anything. The next thing we know, he is flying past production. He almost probably hit KD on the way by, and rolling out on the stage. And then they're trying to separate each other. And then Marky's not here because he's getting looked at because Curtis yeeted him halfway across Bierstadt. If you've noticed, he landed on referee Benny out there. I mean, it was bedlam. And then we come to find out with Dean that there's gonna be a match, just not right then. But they didn't care. They were still, throwing people around and trying to get at each other. And I gotta say, Curtis Cole definitely got the worst of this because that man left the arena shoeless. Because there was one over by
well, that was his
commentary.
own doing.
Well, yes, but he could have come back and got him, but unfortunately he got runned out of that building pretty quickly tonight.
Katie, your thoughts on the mayhem that happened? That was supposed to be the main event, not those two, but there was a main event scheduled for tonight, and that unfortunately did not happen because of these two. Um, now that Dean's back, actually, I'll throw this question to you. Now that Dean's back full time as the president of RMP and he's not training anymore, not worrying about championship matches and all that stuff, do you still think he has complete control over Rocky Mountain Pro right now in that locker room? Considering what we saw
Hell
tonight.
Hell no.
He's got as
I mean,
much
he can-
control over the locker room right now, with all due respect, as a kindergarten teacher does on a Friday.
Yeah, no, God no. He's trying. God bless his heart, but no. As long as you got guys like Curtis Cole who kind of wield some power. No. And man, it was Dak on that kid like a fat kid on cake. Like he just
Dragging him by the head.
just dragged him up and down the hallways, threw him, behind everybody, cleared out that locker room. Like you said, almost hit me and the rest of the production team standing out there. Like, man, that was a brawl, and it took everything they had to try to separate. And I say try because they didn't get them to separate. It was only after Curtis threw his shoes and I think stepped in a bunch of beer on the floor, and just decided this is not for me.
Nobody likes sweat socks.
No, what sucks are the worst. But Dak was still in the ring, ready to go. Like he wanted it right then and there, and he doesn't have long to wait. But man, is that waiting is it gonna just eat up at him? And that's not helping Curtis Cole, because Dak's always been one of those guys. I've seen Dak get extremely frustrated with somebody, but be able to maintain his composure and go in there and focus on the game plan. Dak doesn't go in very often angry, and that's going to work in his favor. As we've seen, Curtis Cole tends to let his attitude and ego get the best of him, and I don't know if Curtis can not let his feelings get in the way.
Just double checking here, making sure I didn't miss any bits or anything because they don't pop up on here. Thank God this is the last week I have to deal with this. Yeah, this is doing your own production and doing your own show at the same time is very difficult, folks. I don't recommend it without your own production team. That's for sure.
You don't say.
um, but yeah, and that unfortunately concluded tonight's episode of Charge because there was no main event because we couldn't get to it because at that point, I mean, you kind of have to just take what you got and just go home. I mean, it's
Yeah, it was wild. It took us a while to get everything sorted out after that.
and that's the thing. I mean, just because apparently there was beer on the floor and all that stuff, like you have to have a cleaning crew in
It
there
was like
because you
15
can't have a
broken
match.
glasses.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have a
Yeah.
match with all that stuff on the ground and stuff like that. Like you have to have a cleaning crew in there, and at that point, you might as well wait till next week. So I'm sure that main event will be made up next week on Charge, along with a lot of other things. But we did on this episode figure out kind of what No Thanksgiving is going to be looking like next week. Starting off here, obviously, what you saw at the end of this show, Dak Draper will be going up against Curtis Cole for the Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight Championship. You will also be seeing, and most of these are technically not confirmed, but the challenges were laid out, so we're just going to assume that everything will be confirmed by next week. Sin Bodhi going up against Jason Knoll for the NRW Championship. That was briefly talked about during the interaction between Sin Bodhi and Damon Ace earlier tonight. We also saw the challenge laid out by Lilith Grimm to Adrian Mascara. So Lilith Grimm, it looks like we'll be going up against Adrian for that Lockett's Championship. CBD, of course, and Remy D, we've known that for a while, ever since Shocktober, that is going to be a thing. Since Remy D beat Brew back at Shocktober, he earned the right to face CBD. Hence the attack earlier tonight backstage. We, from the looks of it, from what Chopper City was saying, is that Chopper City wants to defend those tag team titles against Echo Bruce and Brew. And what's their tag team name now?
The Untitled.
The Untitled. There you go. I gotta write that down because I'm definitely gonna forget that when we do this again.
It sounds like they just forgot to write it down on the sheet. What's your name?
Untitled. So the Untitled will go up against Chopper City at No Thanksgiving. And of course, also we just found out tonight, Lord Mitchell Taylor and Derek Stone will be going up against Smoke and Mirrors and No Thanksgiving. That is what the card is looking like as of right now. And there's still room for more. So expect more matches to be announced as we get closer to No Thanksgiving next Thursday, November 2nd at 7 p.m. Mountain Now time. Yes, I did say Mountain Now time. It's in my vocab now. I will never forget it. Pre-show will start at 6 p.m., followed by, obviously, No Thanksgiving at 7, either at the Wimmer Arena if you're in the Denver area, or if you're watching from abroad on YouTube, make sure you are a member of the Tier 2 variety at $9.99. Not only will you get No Thanksgiving, that's coming up next Thursday, but you will also have access to all the other pay-per-view and live events that RMP held this year and in past years. So you have access to all those with that $9.99 membership fee. I guess I can kind of repeat what I made the announcement on Sunday, that the Dudes and Belts, our show, will be making the move to a more permanent spot, and that spot will be on Twitch, the Purple brand. That's where you're going to be seeing all the Dudes and Belts live shows from now on. We're still going to be posting shows up here from time to time, so we're not completely going to be going away from YouTube, but we're going to kind of separate the talk show from the wrestling for multiple reasons, but Twitch is where we gotta start. Twitch is technically our home away from home, so the dudes going back over Twitch definitely kind of helps us alleviate ourselves a little bit from the strict rules of YouTube, and we can kind of be ourselves a little bit more. So that's always a good thing for the dudes, considering every single show that we've put on YouTube has been flagged in some way, shape, or form for whatever reason. We don't know why. I see it every week, and that's just the nature of the beast, I guess, for YouTube. So
We don't
see
even have
that
Triple I anymore.
every week, every show that we've put on, we've had to put a review on.
Jesus.
So it's not a bad reason why we're going over to Twitch again.
Hey, at least we're batting 1,000 on getting reviewed.
Yes, we are. But also, I mean, that's where a lot of our fans came from that followed us over to YouTube. So it'll be a nice homecoming. That's going to start next Tuesday, by the way, folks. Recharge will be live exclusively on Twitch and for the first foreseeable future. That's the good news. The bad news is this Thursday is the final ignition for a while. And with the final ignition, which means it's the final show for Dudes and Belts Reignited for a while. So that's coming up this Thursday. Obviously, same time, same place, YouTube and Rumble and Twitch, actually. You'll be able to see that live on Twitch. And then immediately afterwards, you will get Dudes and Belts Reignited for one more time, at least for the foreseeable future. It is not gone permanently. I guess it's on sabbatical, we'll say.
Taking a holiday break.
Other than that, did I miss anything? Oh, no, I did. Our Patreon that we're going to be launching. Our Patreon will be launching as of right now, the first full week in November. So after No Thanksgiving is when our Patreon will go live, and it's going to be all the exclusive content that you guys don't see and will probably never see, unless you are a paid member on the Patreon for only $3. $3 a month.
Jerry Maguire, show us the money.
No, we're not gonna break your banks. There's no reason to break your banks. Yeah, banks, yeah. Because I mean, obviously times are tough, and even though it's exclusive content that you won't see on live shows that you'll have access to, we want you guys to see it, and we want you guys to see it at an affordable price. So only $3 a month will get you all the exclusive content that you guys don't see before and after shows. So.
Yep. Not going to break your banks, but those sure will break your balls.
And there will be some moments like tonight. And yeah, and this will be the last week where we'll be saying, too bad you guys didn't see what we just said. Because now everything will be recorded from now on starting next week. So other than that, I think that's all I got. Katie, any live events coming up? I think you guys had Summit Tacos last Saturday, I believe. I don't know when the next actually RMP live will be, if there is one.
There won't be another one for the rest of the year. We are done. Most of our live events get held outside. Therefore, it is far too cold to be wrestling outside. So we will be taking us a break. However, it is almost finished. Couple dates need to be added. However, the majority of the schedule for next year is finalized. It is ready. It is in a layout, and it will be posted on our social media soon. So you can start getting the feel for what is coming next year. Lots of changes. Lots of changes. We'll be back to all of our normal stuff. We'll be doing our house events. We'll be doing Charge, Supercharge, pay-per-views. The dates will change, or the days will change on that. So after this year, for the foreseeable future, I think we can say it, Thursday pay-per-views will be a thing of the past. We will be back to weekend pay-per-views as well. So you will see, I believe, most of our pay-per-views are actually going to take place on Saturday nights as opposed to Thursdays. So that'll be a big change. It'll be a huge help, I think, as well to the crew and the staff and the wrestlers. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of cool things coming, a lot of good things happening. Keep an eye out on our social media, and that first draft of the schedule should be out soon.
All right. Changes abroad for everybody involved here as we wind down 2023. And I believe there is still a supercharge in December. I think that will be coming
Yes,
up.
there is.
And of course, we will be doing our, is this our 4th annual Peak Awards? 3rd annual Peak Awards? I can't remember. It's the 3rd. Yeah, we'll be doing our 3rd annual Peak Awards at the end of December as well. Probably the second to last or the last show of the year. So, because I do believe the dudes will be on a break as well for the holidays in December. So it'll be the show before we leave and take a nice long week and a half break. So, other than that, that's all I got. Coastal, anything to say before you get on that red-eye flight back home?
Yeah, I gotta get to the airport. Yeah, I get to see that.
You look exhausted, by the way.
Dude, I'm tired.
You look tired.
Don't
It
worry,
seems like your voice is going.
I'll make sure that next time you have to fly, and we'll make sure we'll get you a nice comfy spot on Spirit Airlines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Frontier just ain't cutting it.
I mean, what's the better of the evils here?
But I'd actually want JetBlue.
Oh, man. All right, folks. Well, that's going to conclude Dudes and Belts Recharge for us. Again, as always, we thank you guys so much for watching the product. Without you, this would not happen. Actually, before we go, I actually wanted to say something about the YouTube, because it's been about a year, as a matter of fact, since we started to really focus on the YouTube channel. All right, and I do believe, because I have the YouTube channel in front of me, because just making sure I don't miss any super chats, because Restream sucks. I believe our count as of, oh, it went up actually. So we are sitting at 6,580 subscribers and change. This time last year, I think we were around 4,200 or something like that, or somewhere in that ballpark. So we actually grew substantially over the course of the year that we've been focusing on YouTube. And we have you guys to thank, because without you, I mean, hitting that like button, which you should be doing right now, and leaving comments on all these videos, without you guys, we wouldn't have seen the amount of growth that we're seeing on YouTube right now. And we have you guys to thank. So thank you guys all very much for your continued support through this grind, through this journey that we're all on. And hopefully there'll be more good things to come, for sure. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say on that, but other than that, that's going to wrap up the show this evening. For myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Coast Crusader, and KD, we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys on Thursday for Ignition and Dudes and Belts Reignited. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one.
Don't miss a moment of Rocky Mountain Pro action with options that suit your tastes and needs. Check out new episodes of Charged and Ignition. Interact with your favorite stars and personalities, all for free. Subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, or follow us on Rumble. Upgrade to the pay-per-view membership on YouTube and don't miss out on any past and present special events and episodes of Charged with more content added all the time. Check us out on any of these platforms and search RMP Wrestling to get more pro wrestling elevated.
Gregory Rise locked into this time and he catches all of it. World's prettiest elbow you saw here on Charge. And the ring couldn't even take the impact. No.